What if I told you the person easiest to control isn't the fool? It's the one who has never questioned a single value they were handed. Because the moment someone believes their morality was chosen freely, when it was actually installed by fear, by guilt, by the herd around them, you already own the leash. You just haven't picked it up yet. Nietzsche spent his entire life tearing that mask off. He didn't just study power. He studied the lie underneath it. The lie that most people are living a life they actually chose. And once you see that lie clearly, you stop being led by it and you start using it. Today you're learning 7 dark psychological tricks drawn from Nietzsche's mind. Not to become cruel, to become impossible to control. Stay until the end, because trick number 7 is the one that separates the herd from the ones who actually write their own values, and it might be the most dangerous idea on this entire list. Before we go further, drop this affirmation in the comments: I create my own values. Let's begin. Number 1. Expose the herd instinct. Nietzsche believed most human beings never truly think. They absorb. They take the values of their family, their church, their culture, their crowd, and they wear those values like a second skin, convinced the skin is their own flesh. He called this the herd instinct, the desperate, unconscious need to believe what everyone else believes, simply because believing alone feels unbearable. Here is the advantage this gives you. A person who has never questioned where their beliefs came from will defend those beliefs, like they're defending their own body. But their certainty isn't strength, it's borrowed. It belongs to their parents, their pastor, their group chat, their culture. It was never truly examined. When you ask someone a quiet question like, did you choose to believe that? Or were you just never given another option? You're not attacking them. You're doing something far more destabilizing. You're showing them the seams of a costume they thought was skin. And once a person sees the seams, they can never fully unsee them. People who run in herds are predictable. They will do what the group does, believe what the group believes, and punish anyone who breaks formation not out of conviction, but out of fear of standing alone. Understand this pattern, and you understand almost everyone you will ever meet. Drop this affirmation in the comments: my beliefs are mine, not inherited. Number 2, read their will to power. Nietzsche argued that beneath every human motive, love, kindness, ambition, even humility, runs one deeper current, the will to power. Not power in the cartoonish sense of domination, but the drive to expand, to overcome resistance, to become more than you currently are. He believed this drive shapes behavior even when people dress it up as something nobler. The person who is endlessly just trying to help may be feeding a need to be needed. The person who insists they don't care what others think may be desperately hungry for respect. The will to power hides behind humility, behind generosity, behind self-sacrifice, and the moment you learn to see it, you stop reacting to what people say and start reading what they're actually reaching for. This is not cynicism, it's clarity. Once you identify what someone's will to power is hungry for validation, control, admiration, safety, you understand the lever behind almost every choice they make. You stop arguing with their words and start speaking to their actual hunger. That is where real influence begins, and almost no one operates at this level. Because almost no one is willing to look this honestly at human motive, including their own. Number 3, create chaos to birth a star. Nietzsche wrote that you must still have chaos in you to give birth to a dancing star. Most people misunderstand this as poetry. It is a psychological weapon. Order feels safe. Predictability feels safe. And safety is exactly what keeps people asleep, unchallenged, and easy to read. When you introduce controlled chaos and unexpected response, a contradiction they can't immediately explain, a moment that doesn't fit the story they had already written about you, you don't create conflict. You create disorientation, and disorientation, unlike conflict, doesn't make people defensive. It makes them curious, unsettled, and suddenly very attentive. A person who expected you to argue and instead watched you stay calm has no established pattern to fight against. A person who expected agreement and got a quiet, unexpected question has nothing solid to push back on. Their mind, built for order, now scrambles to reorganize itself around you. While they're rebuilding their internal map, they've stopped operating from strength. They're operating from confusion and confusion. Held with composure is where the dancing star gets born. Not chaos for chaos's sake, chaos deployed with precision, aimed at cracking someone's false sense of certainty. Number 4, silence is the Übermensch's weapon. Nietzsche's Übermensch, the one who overcomes, does not explain himself to the herd. He does not perform his reasoning for an audience that was never equipped to understand it in the first place. Silence in this frame is not absence. It is sovereignty. Most people cannot tolerate a pause. Ask a pointed question and stay quiet, and you'll watch the other person rush to fill the space often with more truth than they meant to give away. This isn't a party trick. It's a demonstration of who actually needs the moment resolved. The person who speaks first to relieve the tension reveals that the tension belongs to them. Nietzsche despised people who justified themselves endlessly to win approval from a crowd that would never truly value their reasoning anyway. Every unnecessary explanation is a small bow to the herd. Every withheld word is a small refusal to kneel. The next time silence stretches longer than feels comfortable, do not rescue the moment. Let it press on the other person instead. Let their own discomfort do the work your words never needed to do. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I do not perform my thoughts for anyone. Number 5. Become who you are. Unpredictably. Become who you are, Nietzsche wrote, not as a fixed identity to arrive at, but as a continuous act of self-overcoming. He believed the self is never finished. It is created and recreated, moment to moment, by whoever has the will to keep shaping it. This has a sharp psychological edge. People try to fix you in place. They build a model of who you are based on old patterns, and once that model is built, they stop paying attention. They believe they already understand you completely. This is where most people lose their power. They become so consistent, so predictable, that they turn into background noise in the minds of everyone around them. The one who keeps becoming, who allows themselves to shift, withdraw, surprise, evolve, remains impossible to fully map. Not through instability, but through refusal to freeze into a character other people can manage. When someone realizes the version of you they thought they understood no longer fully applies, their attention snaps back to you immediately. You are no longer background. You are, once again, a live question in their mind, and live questions command far more respect than settled answers ever do. Number 6. Perform a transvaluation of values. One of Nietzsche's most radical ideas was the transvaluation of all values, the deliberate act of flipping the moral frame society hands you and asking who actually benefits from you believing it. He looked at concepts like humility, guilt, and self-sacrifice and asked a dangerous question. Were these virtues built to elevate the strong, or to keep them small and manageable? You can use this same move inside any conversation. When someone frames you inside their moral language, you're being difficult. You're too much. You should just let it go. You are being handed their value system as if it's simply the truth. Accept that frame, and you're already negotiating from a position they built specifically to weaken you. Instead, transvalue it. Calmly turn difficult into clarity. Turn too much into honesty they weren't prepared for. Let it go into a question about who benefits from your silence. You are not denying what happened. You are refusing to accept their definition of it. Once you control the values inside the frame, you control where the entire exchange goes next, and the person who set the original trap is now the one explaining themselves. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I decide what my actions mean. Number 7, amor fati, reveal less, command more. The final trick is the one almost nobody talks about, and it might be the most powerful idea in Nietzsche's entire philosophy, amor fati, the love of one's fate, not resignation, not passive acceptance, a fierce, total ownership of everything that happens to you, so complete that you no longer need to explain, justify, or defend any of it to anyone. Most people leak power through constant self-narration, explaining every decision, justifying every silence, defending every choice before anyone even asks. Each explanation quietly says, I need you to approve of this. Amor fati ends that need entirely. When you have made total peace with your own path, you stop performing your reasoning for an audience, and a person who no longer explains themselves becomes almost impossible to read, because there is no anxious oversharing left to study. This is where real command lives, not in constant self-justification, but in the quiet, settled certainty of someone who has already made peace with everything they've done and everything still to come. People will invent their own theories about you and let them. Whoever needs the least approval always holds the most power in the room. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I love my fate, and I owe no one an explanation for it. Nietzsche never wrote a manual on manipulation. He wrote about something far more dangerous, the courage to stop, living by borrowed values, and start creating your own. These 7 tricks aren't about controlling people carelessly. They're about seeing the invisible strings the herd never notices, staying sovereign while everyone else performs for approval, and refusing to let anyone else write the values you live by. The herd sleeps inside inherited beliefs, chasing certainty, terrified of silence, easy to map and easy to move. The one who becomes who they are, who loves their own fate, who needs no explanation that person cannot be led, they lead. If this opened your eyes to something you'd never named before, hit like right now. It genuinely helps this channel grow. Share it with someone still asleep inside the herd, and subscribe so you never miss the next lesson on power, psychology, and the hidden forces most people never learn to see. Stay sovereign, stay awake, and never let anyone else write the story of your own mind.